Will everyone please join me in Gassho and recite the Nembutsu with me? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, everyone. Today is a wonderful day. Personally, for me, I love the cold weather. Lots of people don't like the cold weather. They prefer it to be sunny and bright. Personally, I like the fog, I like the rain, I like the mist. I kind of like the snow. I like looking at it. I don't like driving through it too much. But we are, basically in the season of fall or autumn. And we are continuing on with this cycle that we call the seasons. And as you all know, for Dharma school, oh, I'm sorry, I should put this. And as all of you know, for this particular Dharma school theme this year, the theme is going to be the cycles of life, right? We talk about how we go through the school year, how the year we should not think of so much as a linear thing, even though we continue, or a lateral thing, right, where we continuously count upwards, but more of a circular thing, because the Earth rotates around the sun, the Earth spins in a rotation, and depending on where the Earth is at that time of the year, it will depend on what the weather is. But that is also true with life itself. And according to Buddhism, this is what we call samsara. Can everyone please say that with me? Samsara. Very good. Now, Dharma school students, I want you to remember this term, samsara, meaning the cycle of birth and death. Okay, so once again, samsara is the cycle of birth and death. Dharma school students, what does samsara mean? The cycle. One more time. The cycle. Okay. You all still need your coffee this morning, I see, which is totally fine. But to better illustrate my point about the cycle of birth and death, I bought a very neat visual aid this morning. This is a beautiful metal or iron picture of depicting samsara. It's kind of hard to see way up here. So those of you who usually sit in the back, I bet you're wishing you're sitting closer to the front. Just joking. So I'm going to go ahead and hand this to the Dharma school students because I want them to take a look at it first. So feel free to take a look at the image. What you see in that image of samsara, and they're going to pass it around so everybody can get a chance to take a look at it. But what you see in that image of depicting of samsara is the wheel of birth and death. Now, let's see if the Dharma school students can remember in Buddhism, how many realms are there? 1, no. 2, no. Oh, almost 5, almost one more. 6 realms of existence. 6 realms of existence. So the first one are the heavenly realms, okay? Heavenly realms. Second one, fighting deities or fighting titans. 3, human. 4, animal. 5, hungry ghosts. You all know that realm very well because of Obon. And finally, 6, the hell realms, which is where you don't really want to be. So once again, starting from number 1, Dharma school students, number 1 is heavens, right? So number 1 is heavens, very good. Second one, fighting titans, good. Fighting titans, fighting deities. 3 is humans, very good. Humans. 4, animals, very good. 5, hungry ghosts, very good. And the last one, 6, hell realms, very good. Yeah, the Japanese word for hell is jigoku. But anyway, so these are beautiful. This is the beautiful image of the 6 realms of existence. So this is the realms that we're born into in the cycles of samsara, right? The cycles of samsara, that everlasting cycle of birth and death. And the idea in Buddhism is that we want to become enlightened so we can get off this wheel, right? That's the whole point of Buddhism. When a person asks you, well, in Buddhism, do you go to heaven? We can say, sometimes. See, that's the difference between, Buddhism and other religions of the world, right? Is that, for places like heaven and hell, it might last for an eternity. But for Buddhism, they don't last forever. These realms like heavens, hells, hungry ghosts, animals, fighting titans, humans, are all transitory. They're all impermanent. They don't last forever, right? So now, of course, we think about the heavens. In the heavens, you get the best food, you get the best clothes, you have the best quality things, you always are having a good time. You get the best drinks out there, probably. You always look really beautiful, and you always are having a wonderful time with your friends. You get to do whatever you want, probably. For Dharma school kids, or maybe even adults too, the heavenly realms sound like a wonderful place. But there's one problem with the heavenly realms. You don't get to hear the Dharma. Now, for a lot of you who probably woke up early to come to temple, you're going, well, is that really that bad of a thing, right? I have to wake up early, sit here and listen to Sensei babble on about this and that, right? Maybe it's not, maybe you think, yeah, I don't mind foregoing that to get a bit of heaven, right? But the problem is then you never become awakened to the truth, and you never get to listen to the truth. And then after spending all this time in the heavens, you'll notice after maybe 10,000 years or so, that you start to decay, right? Your clothes start to become tattered, all these things, right? And then you get reborn in another realm, maybe not so good realm. Fighting titans also can represent the realm of envy, right? You're always competing. And sometimes we look at this and we see with our sports, right? Everybody gets into this like frenzy of they want their own team to win, and we get really upset when they don't. The best part about the fighting titan realms is that what represents that realm is a huge trunk of a tree. So I want all the Dharma school students to imagine this big trunk of a tree. You've probably gone into the forest and you've seen a tree trunk probably bigger than the size of your house, right? And then think of this really tall tree, but then think of the most delicious fruit that you can imagine, right? The most delicious fruit coming from this tree that you can imagine. The problem is that fruit is hanging in the heavenly realms, so all the deities in the heavenly realms get to eat that fruit, and you as the fighting titans don't get any of it. Ugh, that doesn't sound very good. Animal realms. How many of you actually wish you were an animal? Like, oh, yeah, okay, good. What animal do you wish you were? A cat. I can definitely sympathize with that or empathize with that because I have a kitty, and my gosh, if I had the life of a house cat where people feed me, pet me, give me attention and love, I don't have to they change my litter box, right? I basically don't have any responsibilities, What a wonderful thing, wonderful thing. But the other problem is that also I don't get to live in the realm of listening to the Dharma, right? Maybe I might have some residual effects because as we can all see, probably in that picture where Shakyamuni Buddha was passing away, the animals would come and mourn, but I don't get to become enlightened either. And so, therefore, I'm only really living on instinct, right? Food, eating, that's, procreating, right? Those are my only instincts, right? And so therefore, I don't get to have that benefit of, listening to the Dharma. Next are the hungry ghosts. Dharma school students, raise your hand if you remember the story of the hungry ghosts. Okay, Obon, right? Moggallana, when Moggallana looked into the various realms of existence, he saw his mother suffering in the realm of the hungry ghosts. And to give you an idea of that realm, your belly is really, really big, right? Because you're always hungry. Your belly is really, really big, and you have this beautiful feast in front of you. So think of like this wonderful, beautiful feast, and probably all your favorite foods right there in front of you. And the second you touch it, or the second you bring that food to your lips, it bursts into flames and becomes ash, and you can't eat it. You also have tiny little mouths, and your neck is very, very small. So you can't really get anything down there, but you're always, always hungry. The last realm are the hell realms, where if you're interested in what goes on in the hell realms, I won't personally say it, I won't say it like here at the Dharma School Dharma Talk, but for when you become college students, you can read Genshin's, Master Genshin. Master Genshin wrote the Ojo Yoshu, and he has some very, very colorful pictures of what goes on in the hell realms. Genshin was kind of like Dante Alighieri, who wrote the Divine Comedy, where they have to go through the 7 levels of hell. But if you're interested later on, you can read Genshin's Ojo Yoshu, and he had a very vivid imagination. So the realm that you definitely want to be in, or that you are in, is the human realm. And why is this good? Well, we are imperfect. We are imperfect, unenlightened beings. This is true. Nobody is perfect, right? Everyone's heard this term before, nobody is perfect. We want to be in the human realm because then we have the concept of suffering, right? We feel the suffering of others. We feel suffering ourselves. When we see other people on the television suffering, like what's going on in the Middle East right now, we can have a deep sense of empathy for that. We can understand the realm of suffering as well as anyone else can. And we feel this type of suffering ourselves. This then encourages us to follow the teachings of the Buddha Dharma, to realize the true interdependence that we all share and that we're all connected in. Only in the human realm can we truly listen to the Dharma. Why? Because we can experience and we have this concept of dukkha, which means suffering. We have cravings and desires, yes. All Dharma school students, even adults, right? Even when you become adults, you're gonna have different desires when you're adults than you have now, but you still have desires, you have cravings. You wanna get into the best college that you can. You want to get all A's on your finals. You want a car. You want a new cell phone. You want this, you want that. There are so many things that you want. And when you don't get what you want, you have this inner anger, this inner type of suffering, because deep down there is this part of you that says, why didn't I get that? Shouldn't I deserve that? But then we can awaken ourselves, or we can actually do benefit for ourselves by listening to the teachings of the Dharma given to us by Shakyamuni Buddha, helping us to realize our true selves, who we truly are as imperfect beings. And once we can accept that, then we are able to truly listen to the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching on Amida Buddha. And this is why we must always rely on wisdom and compassion from Amida Buddha. I've explained the 6 realms of existence, or the 6 realms of samsara, right? Believe it or not, you all are here in the human realm, and you see, like the one other realm that you probably see for sure is the animal realm, because we live together with animals. But you are all here born in the human realm. Through countless causes and conditions, you are here today. But then, this life, this existence, where you are now, is not meant to be squandered in, in pleasures, or, just hedonism, or where you just, do the things that you want, right? Play video games all day, eat junk food all day, drive around in your car all day, right? Going out and causing trouble, perhaps, right? This life is also meant to be lived to listen deeply to the Dharma. This is why you are born into the human realm as well. Through myriads of causes and conditions are you here now. And how wonderful it is. We haven't chanted or recited the 3 treasures lately, because I wanted us to start chanting or reciting more Jodo Shinshu verses. But notice that the first line of the 3 treasures is, hard is it to be born into human life, right? Or another way of saying it is, rare is it to be born into human life. There are so many other living beings around us right now. Who said that you were going to be born as a human? You could have been born as a cat. You could have been born as a tree. You could have been born as an ear of corn. You could have been born as a particle in water, right? Who is to say that you would become human or that you would be born human? I don't know, but myriads of causes and conditions have come together to bring all of us here, right here and now. And this great realm of samsara that you see there, that circle of samsara that you're currently passing around, doesn't dictate as to what you will be or what you could be. There probably is some type of way of judging, I would not know. But at the same time, we are born human, we should be considered very lucky. We should consider ourselves lucky. We should consider ourselves fortunate that we are here and now as a human being to receive the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha. So in this realm of samsara, the six realms of existence, let us be grateful and thankful that we are born here in the realm of humans. So Dharma school students, before I close, one more time, there are how many realms of existence or how many realms in samsara? Very good. The first one is heavens. Good. The second one, fighting titans. The third one, humans. Very good. Fourth one, animals. Fifth one, hungry ghosts. And the last one, sixth one, how wonderful and fortunate we are to be born in the realm of humans. So once again, Dharma school students, thank you very much for attending today's Dharma school lesson. In closing, would you please join me in Gassho and recite the Nembutsu with me? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Nam mandats, nam mandats, nam mandats. You all please join me in Gassho. Those who reach the pure land of happiness return to this evil world of five defilements, where, like the Buddha Shakyamuni, they benefit sentient beings without limit. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Nam mandats, nam mandats, nam mandats. Good morning again, everyone. So to continue on this theme of the cycles of life and how things go in cycles and the world of samsara, I'd like to put it into perspective of Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, or how Pure Land Buddhists fit into this realm of the six existence and the six cycles. Oh, sorry, Donna, would you mind handing me the image again? I'll leave this image around, or I'll probably leave it towards the front so you can all take a look at it again if you're interested. But you'll notice that when we look at this image of samsara, there are bodhisattvas outside of this realm as well. And on top of that, if you look closely on the six realms of existence, despite the fact that maybe in not all the realms we can hear the Dharma, the Buddha, or at least an image of the Buddha, is present in every single one of the realms. And that's because this realm of the six realms of existence is just as much as part of the truth of our existence in Buddhism as the realm of humans is. So despite the fact that the heavenly beings may not be able to hear the Dharma, the animal realms only are concerned as food and basic instinct, we have the Buddha in that realm as well, even in the realm of hell beings. But where we fit in as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists has to also do with the fact that when we go to the Pure Land, or Amida Buddha's Skavati, or the land of bliss, we are not there forever. And in fact, when we think about it, the Pure Land is there as a means to an end. The traditional understanding of Pure Land Buddhism is that if you say Nembutsu enough times, you get born in the land of bliss, or you get born in the Pure Land, but then you have to work really hard to become a Buddha, right? So that could actually take a long, long time. So, you have to work really hard to become this, enlightened being in Amida Buddha's Pure Land, which, of course, there are no obstructions there to limit you from becoming the perfect monk or the perfect enlightened being. But, that takes a long time. Shinran, on the other hand, kind of flipped that on top of its head. If anything, he said, we resolve in this lifetime whether we are going to Amida Buddha's Pure Land or not. It is in this life that we make that resolve. it is in this life where we take that refuge. So when we are born in that land of Amida Buddha's, an Amida Buddha's pure land of happiness, we are instantly born, we are instantly awakened, we are instantly enlightened, we come back to this world, and we, of course, benefit other sentient beings. This is our understanding of Pure Land Buddhism, according to Master Shinran, our founder. Now, while this may sound fantastical or, in a sense, otherworldly, it is actually important for us to realize that this is something that is a lived tradition, meaning that we are continuously living in this realm of, or in the wisdom and compassion that Amida Buddha gives us from the Pure Land. We are benefited from that land as well. But how do I put this in example of real world examples? Two of the greatest influences on my life were my grandparents, Kinji Hiramoto and Teruyo Terry Hiramoto. They were my grandparents from Lodi. They were great pillars of the community, and they were very much involved with the Lodi Buddhist Church. Just a show of hands, how many of you have been to Lodi before in California? Okay, I know Reverend Yukawa has. Reverend Yukawa was a minister at Sacramento, so I know he's gone to Lodi before. For those of you who have never been to Lodi, it's kind of, well, I mean, it used to be just nothing but open country. So think of like a vast valley of farmlands and, kind of nothing almost in a sense. But at the same time, they are also known for their wine. So if you're interested, the 7 deadly Zins for the Zinfandels, that comes from Lodi, actually. So you should try it. I actually brought when I first came here, I brought a bunch of it to share with some of the members. Regardless of which, my grandparents were members who I very much remember in terms of their involvement with the Lodi Buddhist Church. Every year, my mother would take us to their Lodi Obon. So I would go to Lodi's Obon festival. I would dutifully see my grandfather standing up at the bingo, at the bingo board, and he would be the one calling out the numbers. My grandmother would be with the other Fujinkai or BWA members in the kitchens, helping to cook and prepare the teriyaki chicken, prepare the teriyaki chicken bento boxes that they would sell during the Obon festival. But their community involvement did not end there. My grandfather was president for a time of the Lodi chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League. He was an avid golfer, and my grandmother also had her set of friends from the temple who she would often spend time playing cards with. They were also amazing hosts. They hosted Shogatsu unfailingly every year. It was something that we would always look forward to and that my family would always go to. In fact, there were quite a few years where we would actually go to their house for New Year's Eve and stay until midnight, drive back to Sacramento, which is about a 40-minute drive, and then drive back in the morning to help my grandmother host Shogatsu, where she would host a slew of people, from families to friends to members of the church as well. And I actually would remember former Reverend Ken Fujimoto would actually visit the house as well. So this is something that, that has been imprinted on my memory now for all this time. And I am certain that many of you have imprints or memories, deep traditions and rituals and routines that all of your family did for you, that did for you and that you were a part of in the years past. For those of you who are, still continuing on that tradition, this is part of what coming back from the Pure Land means. You're giving to the temple, your community service, your dedication to doing things for others. All of these lessons and things and feelings don't just come out of a vacuum. They happen because of the constant cycle of parents' love and their sense of duty towards the Dharma being imprinted on you over the years. And it's not just your grandparents, right? It's not just them, but it's those who came before them as well, right? Going back for whichever country that any one of your families immigrated from, these traditions are deep-seated and continue on to live through you. And I guarantee you, for those of you who have young children now or plan to have children, there will be the same thing. Yes, sometimes we have aspects about our parents or grandparents that we don't want to replicate. There are many, there are probably difficulties that we've had in childhood or things that we've swore, right, that we were never going to be. Sometimes my mother does say like, oh, I'll never do this like my parents did. And I myself am the same way. Like if I have kids, I'm not going to do it this way. We resolve these things within ourselves as well. But whether right or wrong, or whether it's something that we appreciate or something that we want to push away, these imprints still continue to stay with us and are in fact lessons from our family members. And sadly, it is not until our family members pass away that we kind of realize the importance of these lessons. We don't realize the importance of these, of these lessons and traditions until the ones who are really imparting them on us are gone. And these traditions may change, but we still have examples that we follow to this day. And so, when this happens and when we are really recalling on these lessons and these benefits that we've learned from our loved ones long past, this is in fact their continuance, even after they have passed into the Pure Land, even after they have been born into Amida Buddha's realm of compassion. This is in fact their continued work in ensuring that we continue and that we continue to pass on these traditions and lessons as well. And when you think about it, this is why this long-standing tradition of it comes from the Buddhist tradition as well. When you think about Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching, we still chant that. When we chanted Amida Kyo today, when we chanted Jusei Ge, supposedly all of these words came from the mouth of the Buddha, thankfully recalled to us by his disciple Ananda, who supposedly remembered or memorized all of the Buddha's teachings verbatim. So we have this long-standing tradition of passing down this type of teaching again and again. But we shouldn't think of it as just, well, our parents or our grandparents are long past, therefore they're not with us anymore, we're just memorizing the lesson. In our teaching of Buddhism, in our teaching of the Pure Land, our parents and grandparents who are long past are still very much with us to this day as enlightened beings continuing to guide us. All the decisions that we make, the things that we consider to hold important and dear to our hearts, are still the workings of our past loved ones. Maybe they are not here in physical form anymore, but they are definitely with us as enlightened beings, not necessarily as angels protecting us, right? But as the lessons that we live every day. In this regard, our relatives return to us even after they are born in the Pure Land and continue to guide us there. And this actually fits in this whole idea of circular and cycles of life as well. Even after we die, the story does not end there. Even after we are born in Amida Buddha's Pure Land, the work doesn't end. We don't eternally dwell in this paradise forever. The work continues to enlighten all sentient beings, to awaken them to Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. This isn't to say that we have to make it our mission to convert everybody that we see on the street, but to live our lives with an open and kind heart as best as we possibly can, to live by Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion, their example, the example that Amida Buddha gives us. We are indeed imperfect beings. Our grandparents were imperfect. Our parents were imperfect. And I'm glad that my father's not here to hear me say that, but our parents are not perfect either. We are not perfect. And when we have children, they will not be perfect. Yet at the same time, we can continue to impart the lessons and the traditions that our families have given us over the years. And yes, maybe in Western culture, when we think about longstanding tradition and orthodoxy, things might turn us off a little bit. Yet at the same time, when you think about it, why is this temple still standing here? Not because divine intervention or because there's somehow there's a sacred space that's protected by unseen powers, or maybe it is, but because the tradition of this temple continues. And again, of course, things have to change in order for us to stay alive and for us to continue to thrive. But at the same time, we must also balance it with the traditional aspects of our temple as well. The teachings of the Dharma, the teachings of impermanence, working together, living together, being happy together, being sad together and crying together. All of these things are aspects of the Dharma cycle working for our benefit. While we are here with the limited time that we have, let us remember the lessons of our past loved ones. Let us appreciate fully the members of the past who have made this temple what it is today. I thank you all very much for joining me for today's Dharma talk, and I certainly hope that you all have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. I will see you next weekend, and I hopefully will see you all in costume. I will, of course, be up here in my usual costume of robes, but I plan to wear a costume to the party as well. Come and have fun, and most importantly, say the Nembutsu. Please join me in Gassho. Those who reach the pure land of happiness return to this evil world of 5 defilements, where, like the Buddha Shakyamuni, they benefit sentient beings without limit. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Nam Mandats. Nam Mandats.